Remind me about the CIA scam that we were talking about in the back office.
Oh, yeah.
But first, the hotel keys. This was brought up with the drunk pilots.
Drunk pilots, and it was something that was in the story that wasn't really touched on in the story, but I read it and was
By the way,
this is going on?
Those pilots know how to party. We should have invited them yesterday. They had, like 7 gallons of beer between them?
5:30 in the morning, they're tanked going back to their hotel room, and they were flying at 10:30.
Which means they probably slept to 5:30 to 9.
Yeah.
9:15 and got up.
9.
But they're, like, when your hangover might just be kicking in, but you're still really hammered. And there they go, onto the jet aircraft.
We've talked about flying many times in the show, and we've had people that work in the industry, and they admit that some of these pilots are flying quite high.
I've heard they...
Because they don't have to do much. A lot of them are playing board games and reading books and doing all sorts of crazy stuff up there.
On the long flights when they're just hooked up and already...
Autopilot.
Yeah, they got to occupy their time, but it shouldn't be by getting over your hangover.
Right.
Being drunk.
Right. How do they sleep? Can you sleep at all? As a pilot, one guy catches a few hours, the other guy stays awake.
Probably
That's
could,
scary.
especially overseas. Yeah. As long as one guy's looking.
Oh, yeah, they're taking turns sleeping.
That's all you need.
I talked about it, I don't know, last summer. I get nervous when one of the pilots leaves the cockpit to take a leak.
Or he's got to look at something.
Like, our odds have drastically been, changed as far as this plane crashing. I'm thinking the guy goes in the bathroom, next thing you know, he's locked in there, some crazy thing happens, and now you only have one pilot in the cockpit. He has the heart attack, and now we're done.
I don't think you see them coming out to take a leak anymore. I think it's like...
That's why I said I think this was last summer we were discussing this. But when one of them would, leave the cockpit and just kind of stretch his legs and take a leak, talk to the stewardesses and stuff, I was always real nervous. Like, now we only have one guy. Odds aren't good in our favor if this guy all of a sudden has an aneurysm or something.
They have to give them their own bathroom so they can pee in. Scumbag Airlines lose a couple of seats on the aircraft and extend the cockpit so they have their own bathroom. So they don't have to interact with the passengers and they got to take a leak.
Well, we've flown a lot since 9/11. I haven't seen one pilot leave the cockpit.
No, once that door is closed.
So I'm wondering how they were leaving themselves. Because I've done the flight to L.A. We flew to New Orleans. That's a pretty long flight for a domestic flight. You got to think these guys have to take a leak.
You remember during the taxi to the runway, they used to leave that cockpit door open.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be able to look up down the aisle and see them taxiing the plane. And then when they get ready for takeoff, they'd shut the door. But now, while you're walking on, that door is shut. Boom, goodbye. No one's seeing these guys. Anyway, which is good.
So getting back to the drunk pilots, something came up as far as their hotel keys.
Yeah.
And I thought this was pretty interesting.
Never knew this was going on.
No.
Oh, I thought we were going to break, Opie.
No. We could say real fast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They found out that these guys got back to their room at 5:30 from the bar by checking their hotel key records when they got back in their room. You know, when you take your little electronic key and slide it into your door lock and open the door? That's being registered somewhere on a computer at the hotel.
They now know when you're coming and going.
I don't know why. I really can't put my finger on why this bothers me so much, but it really does.
Because it's more of Big Brother just watching you in general.
I think it's just another one of those things that's like, why do they have to know when anyone's coming or going out of the room? You could say for housekeeping's sake, or is somebody still going in after checkout time? I don't know. It's something.
I don't know why they need.
And I am very up to date with technology and what's going on. Believe me, I subscribe to the geekiest goddamn magazines ever, and I paw through them like crazy. Popular Science, Popular Mechanics, all these science magazines. I get a lot of them and read them, and I've never even heard of this. So when I heard it, it was like, why don't I even know that this was going on?
Maybe
it's a little odd.
Do you think they do it on... Is it a Big Brother watching thing, or is it just a byproduct of using a computerized system? Like, maybe it just registers everything that it does, and they never look at those records and like, oh, yeah, we could look at these if you need us to. But you understand what I mean? It may not
they're using this against the pilots.
No, I know, but I mean, it may just...
In most cases, who cares if you're coming or going? But the next thing you know, they're using it in a court case going, look, man, you got back to your room at 5:30. You were supposed to be flying at 10, and you were completely hammered. Now it comes up in the court case, and and it will influence what they decide in the end.
I'm saying, is there any way to have these type of keys without a record being kept?
I'm sure there probably is. I don't know. That's just it. I don't know much about this, and that's what freaks me out the most. We stay in hotels all the time. And, no shenanigans or anything like that. I'm not running drugs and saying I'm leaving at a certain time and coming back. But it just strikes me a little odd that it's one more thing
they're watching,
that you're being kept tabs on your comings and goings.
We've talked about the Easy Passes.
Easy Pass,
they're being used in divorce cases.
Not only that, there's plenty other things.
Why is that fine?
None of that.
Why is it fine that if you using the Easy Pass now, the state or the city or whatever has a record of you coming and going? They know exactly where you're driving now. I don't like that.
I don't care. They're going to notice I drive around the same 5 blocks 40 times. Let them look. Who cares?
Or they're talking about putting the Easy Pass sensors on the highway, put them a mile apart, and based on the time that it takes you to get between those two sensors, you just have your Easy Pass, not even near a toll or anything. You just have it in your windshield, and if you took a certain amount of time to get between the two sensors, they could calculate your speed and mail you a ticket because you were speeding.
The only problem is they'd have to prove that you were driving the vehicle as opposed to you having
They'll figure all that out.
I mean, that's the part. You can't get points for that. You will not be able to get points.
Right, not points, but
they're giving tickets where they take pictures of your
camera at the lights.
At the lights.
Yep.
And there's a lot of times they can't prove it was you in the car.
You don't get points for that either, but you get a fine.
I've gotten one of those. You know what? I know what you guys are saying. I'm not all for Big Brother watching, but that does make things safer because people are like, I can't go through because I won't get away with it, and because less people are going to get killed at intersections. I don't mind that as much. And there's going to be payoffs for it. I don't want Big Brother knowing everything I do, but you know what? If there's a missing kid and you know who he went with and they can track him because of Easy Pass, good.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I guess you got to take the good with it, but I don't know. It just struck me as odd that they're keeping track of when you go into your hotel room.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
When you leave. Like I never knew there was a record of that.
Yeah, why they initially think they had to keep a record? Unless it's just a byproduct of doing it on the computer to begin with. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody could.
I just didn't know that until I read it in the article.
Because I'm trying to think of anything good that would come of that. Like keeping tabs. Like if you're going to kill somebody and you leave your hotel room and you get back in and you said you were in your hotel room the whole night. I mean, that's obviously good. They kept tabs on his comings and going and they caught a killer. That's a good thing. But I can't. I don't know. It doesn't bother me because I'm not going to be doing anything that's going to get me in trouble for it. But it just bothers me that they're knowing that I'm leaving the room or coming into the room.
Yeah.
It's a little odd.
It's a little odd. It's a little creepy. It's
a little invasive.
It's definitely invasive.
And it's just like little pieces that come together like that. There's that. There's other little things that just, I never knew that was happening. What else is going on?
There was another article in the New York papers. You're on camera more than you're off when you're just in New York City.
When you're in New York City, you are on cameras. You're being photographed more than you are not being photographed. At every corner, everywhere you go, whether it's security cameras, traffic cameras, store cameras, people's webcams, whatever it is.
ATM machines, obviously.
ATM machines. It's very rare that something happens that they cannot somehow, some way get a picture of it happening. Which is good, again, for certain things. Some homeless schlep puts a brick over a woman's head. You'd like to see it caught on camera. Just for entertainment value, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just another one of those things that's like, I don't know. It's just odd to me.
You're right, and part of it is the abysmal behavior of people has made there would be a need for security. It's like they're not just putting them up for no reason.
Yeah.
It's because people have been such abominable monsters to each other, and they're cloning each other and bricking each other. They're like, well, catch them. Okay, we're going to put cameras up and try to catch them. Well, don't put cameras up. That's invasive. There's no way to win.
That's all good, but I don't trust our government.
No, I don't either.
And then they'll have all this in place, and then who knows what they use it for in the end.
Yeah.
That's an old argument, slippery slope, they say. It's a slippery slope.
Right.
But, again, you can't judge what could possibly be with any good effects it might have. When that comes, you deal with it. If they start to use it in an inappropriate way, you go, oh, no. And then you deal with that.
No, because it's never presented in a way where anyone ever goes, hey, no, now this is enough. It's just like anything else that the government's done with taxes, If somebody went from no taxes to we're taking 40% of your money, there would be a revolution that you would not believe. People would pick up arms and storm Washington and kill the politicians. But over the years, you accept it. You just sit there and go, yeah, it's just something I have to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's never something that's presented in a way where anyone freaks out.
Yeah,
people know exactly how much people are going to take.
Yeah, they just slowly but surely take a little away from you.
And don't forget, most people, though, who are not paying 40%. That's a very small percentage of people. Most people are not paying that. I don't think that big of a percentage over what they were paying X amount of years ago.
You know what, though? No, it's all relative, too. If you're making a good chunk of change and they take 40% out, you're still pissed because, you know, it's 40. You're a 40% government partner with the government. If you're making crap and they're taking 25% of it, it's 25% of your crap. You know what I mean? It's all relative. It still pisses you off. It's still too much. You'd rather not pay it. But like I said, if it happened overnight and they said all of a sudden we're taking between 25 and 40% of your money based on how much you make, they would pick up guns and kill people.
That's a good point.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Hey, guys, last year I was in London, and my buddy's room got broken into. They took his passport and stuff out of his luggage, and the house dick, huddla, showed us the printout, and they tracked down whose key it was that opened the door, and it was one of the chambermaids.
Oh, really? Their key has an encoding on it or
Special
something?
code, so they know exactly who goes in and out, not just the times, but exactly
how about that?
Love you, Norton.
Thank you, Angel. So that could be the reason, that because it helps with thievery and people know that, look, we're being tracked. We can't just go into rooms as soon as the customer's gone.
I never knew that. I never knew it. That's what bothers me. There's nothing that I signed when I check into a hotel. There's nothing I ever read in one of these magazines that let me know this was happening.
I think that's what bothers me, too, is that they don't tell you that this is what they can do with this new technology.
When they went from the clunky
they never really
key.
told us what they could do with the EasyPass info. They didn't tell us that they could tell when you're coming and going with the hotel keys.
You're all about convenience.
You're right. If the guy at the front desk said, just want to let you know, the hotel key is programmed in a way that we'll know when you're coming and going.
I'm still going to check in, but it'll be like, okay, all right,
well, thanks for telling me.
Thanks for telling me.
It just feels sneaky.
It's all about the convenience of it and presenting it as a huge convenience. No more clunky key in your pocket. The key fits in your wallet. It's great. They program it right at the desk. There's no lost keys. There's no people taking the keys. And you're just like, this is the best thing ever. And then when you're using it, no one's telling you that, there's another side of this. We know your comings and goings at the hotel.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you just let us in?
But then again, when they sell you a video camera, they don't tell you this could be used to film a crime you commit without your knowledge. It's like any time you have something in the small percentage of times that it's used in like a criminal thing, it's very rare. I've never heard this. It's very rare this happens. So they probably figure, why would you tell somebody something that's going to be 1 in 150,000 cases?
That's just what bugs me, though. It's not 1 in when you check into a hotel, you're not told that there is a record. There will be a record of your comings and goings in your room. It seems like something that should be at least in fine print somewhere. Like, I've never heard of this.
Right. And
what else is
we had to
presented
find out because of the drunk pilots just casually reading the paper one day. Oh, look at this. Look what they can do with the hotel keys.
What else is presented to us as a convenience, but then can be turned around and bite you in the ass like EasyPass? There's probably thousands of things you do every day. ATMs, your credit card, your driver's license. That strip on the back of your license, there's a lot of info on that thing. Your Metro cards, I mean, there's plenty of things that are very convenient. We're very happy. We're like little lemmings. We go along and go, oh, look at that. Technology has given us another way to make things easier. Email. Fine, yeah. And then before you know it, you read stories about, someone got bit in the ass by that. I just thought it was a convenience.
But technically, can't you get bitten in the ass by... I mean, I know what you're saying. I don't even disagree with you. But can't you be technically bitten in the ass by anything? It's just, maybe if it wasn't the electronic thing in the key, it would have been the camera in the elevator that saw you in the hotel.
You know what? Yeah, but I know that camera's there.
Yeah, but you know what?
I know it's there.
But there was a time in our lifetimes that you didn't have the automatic keys, and you did not have the cameras in the elevators and in the hallways. But slowly but surely, the cameras have popped up. Here's the electric keys. That's what the
this
point
is for your safety.
In our own lifetime, we went from people really not knowing much about us to the point where they know a lot about us because of the latest technology. And I find that just a little weird, a little sneaky, a little...
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't know what to make of this. I find it odd. That's all it is. I just find it like it's... And every year, it seems to be just a little more... They're keeping... Whoever they are is... And I guess there was a time, are the ones that want this info. If they ever need it for something, it's readily available.
There was a time in New York City, very recently, you just used tokens. Now we got these easy passes, and they could track...
Oh, the Metro cards and...
the Metro cards, excuse me. And there's a lot of info that they could track using that. But only a few years ago, we were just throwing tokens in. No one knew where we were going.
Can you just buy a Metro card in cash, though? Or like if it's anonymous thing, right? Yeah.
You could. What if you buy it with a credit card? Is the info of your credit card put on there? If push came to shove, would they be able to look what time you slid through and see who bought that?
I'm one of the lazy guys.
I don't know.
I just buy like a $20 card. Yeah, you're right. But there are a lot of people in New York that use their credit cards and get the monthly or whatever it is. And now they know this person went into this subway stop and got off here.
Right. Now, I'm not sure if that info is there, but it's another thing that I just don't know. I've never heard of it.
That info's definitely there.
Yeah?
If you're buying it with a credit card, without a doubt. Oh, yeah. You buy a Metro card, definitely. You swipe your card. Okay, this person that bought this Metro card, here's his credit card number. He got on the...
Oh, because it's got to come off of your credit card.
Right.
Oh, then absolutely, yeah.
So they know, okay, at 5:20, he jumped on the subway at 57th and 7th, and at 5:25, he got off here. And then he changed trains over here. Yeah, they can track your movement that way. Yeah, I just find it weird.
Yeah.
But you're saying Easy Pass is being used in a divorce case. Is that really...
That was an old story that was, oh, yeah.
No, but is that really sneaky? Because you get a statement every month that tells you where it was used. Like every bridge, I get a statement that says GW Bridge, and it tells you this is where we charged you.
You know what, though? Until something happens where it's used against you, you do take for granted that it can be used against you. It's, again, a great convenience. Man, when I am whizzing past those sons of bitches waiting on the cash line, I feel like I'm backstage. I got the VIP pass that Norton never gets. I'm cruising through. And they're miserable, and they're sitting there, and if some dumb son of a bitch gets in my Easy Pass lane and doesn't have one, he has the wrath of the line behind him.
You fly by just giving everyone the finger.
Right. It's the convenience. Nobody can ever put in place something that will take away either a right or a privacy without it being presented as this great convenience to the public. It's got to be packaged in a way, regardless of... Now, I might sound like somebody who's really paranoid, but I think that if something wanted to be put in place where they really could, for bad purposes, keep track of the American public, it would be wrapped up as this great convenience, this real... makes life easier for the public, and the public smiles and uses it and says, wow, how did I ever get along without this? And before you know it, you've given so much of your personal information out on the Internet. When you order stuff, personal info, Social Security number, here we go. I'm typing it away. Credit card, enter, here it is. Because I don't have to get up and go to the store. This is so convenient and easy.
There's a guy in the line, he says, if you don't do anything wrong, no problem.
Right.
None of us live our lives perfectly. I mean, I'll use the Easy Pass example. Let's say they decide that they're going to just realize when you're speeding and just start mailing tickets like crazy. We all effing speed.
Right.
That'll affect all of us.
Yeah.
And crazier things have been implemented in our society. All of a sudden, like, you know what, we decided, you put me in office, and I have decided that we're going to start tracking you on the highways because of the Easy Pass, and we'll know when you're speeding, and we're just going to mail tickets. We don't even have to catch you anymore.
What if you're ordering certain subversive books, let's say, just for your own education, or books that maybe not even now, but sometime in the future might be found subversive or offensive or, whatever. Things change over the years, and they can now have a record of that, look back and say, who's been looking at this or getting these videotapes or books, or you just can't tell right now what the future's going to hold. Yet, that record of whatever you do like that on the Internet, whew.
And well, the key is to separate inappropriate, when they're checking up on you inappropriately, and when they're checking up on you appropriate. Like that Easy Pass thing, that's a big thing in that divorce case. Because when you first said that, people go, oh my God, they're getting that info. How do you know his wife didn't just find the statement and go, December 24th, he said he was here. Wait a minute, this says True, Bridge.
Maybe the guy needed to cheat. And maybe she's a twat.
I'm sure she is.
And he's like, you know what, I'm getting away with something cool, and the stupid Easy Pass catches him. Maybe he's trapped in a marriage. He doesn't know how to get the F out. He's got a hot honey somewhere down the turnpike. And he's you know,
cash.
Well, whatever.
It's a choice he made.
But half the people out there don't know that
like
can be used that way.
Presented as a convenience.
Then they're dumb. People, like, there are certain things like the hotel keys. This is a different game because none of us have even thought of that. But Easy Pass, dude, I've been getting a statement. I know.
Yeah.
You know where I was. That guy's dumb.
Here's a great case of something that's presented as a convenience that turned around and bit some guy in the ass. He rented a car. I believe it was Connecticut.
Oh, yeah,
He was driving down south. The car is equipped with GPS. GPS global positioning system. They can tell where you are at any given moment. So if you break down, they know where you are. They can send things. If there's a problem, you give them your route or where you're supposed to go. If it veers off, they can help you. They'll help you. It's a convenience. Somewhere in the very fine print, it was in the fine print, but it wasn't very clear, was the fact that if you were speeding, if you were caught speeding, didn't say anything about the GPS, caught speeding, the company, not the police, not the state, the company that rented you this car will fine you $250. They then use the GPS to calculate your speed. Okay. The man was speeding. He got a $250 ticket with no due process, with no police involvement, nothing. The guy thought GPS. Great. Speeding. All right, if I get pulled over and a cop gives me a ticket, I will then have to pay this rental company $250. No. They now are charging him $250. He fought it. I believe he did win.
It was more than one ticket, by the way.
Yeah. Three separate speeding occasions.
Remember that.
$250 a clip.
Yeah. Well, there's rental cars. I'll never side with them. They're dirtbags.
But it's just another thing presented as a convenience.
All of us need to speed at times. All of us need to go through red lights at times as well. Mm-hmm. That whole taking a picture and just mailing you a ticket is ridiculous. There are times you're at a light waiting, 1 in the morning, whatever. There's no one around. You want to get the F home. You're not bothering everyone.
That light.
You're not messing with it. No one is in danger.
I agree with you.
All of a sudden, they're taking a picture. Tough crap.
Dude, if a cop was there and he saw you, he would never say, "Well, you know what, kid? It is late. You're not getting."
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
But if you're smart, you look around.
You look around for that cop.
My odds are pretty good. I'm not getting caught. No one is coming. I'm tired. I just want to get home. I'm blowing this light. Next thing you know, screw you. Click. Picture's taken. It's mailed. Tough crap.
And to play devil's advocate, technically, they're right. Whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah. You're not supposed to go through that.
Technically, I'm not Larry Law by it. I'm just saying that
we're not robots, though. None of us live our lives perfectly. We're all breaking little rules here and there.
Absolutely. So if this came to the end-all of what we believe it could come to sometime in some wacky future of this planet, we would, as Opie says, have to walk around like robots, making sure you never throw that cigarette butt on the ground. No littering, never speed, always keep the speed limit, never go through a red light, and never bend that law like everyone does on a daily basis. Could you ever see that, this technology and whatnot, snowballing to get that end?
I'm a firm believer we're eventually, and they're probably going to start with kids, going to have little chips in us, and I'm not a paranoid guy to prevent child abduction.
They've already tested it.
That's hit the media, and that might go into effect sooner than you think.
And
implanted
I think for kids it's good to prevent.
Because that's great. It's a great thing for kids. They wouldn't get kidnapped. What info is on it? Yeah. What could they do with it?
Does it wear off eventually?
Right.
Can you have to take? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, as a human being, you're like, oh, well, I'm glad my parents took care of me, but there's going to come an age you're like, get this effing thing off my hand. I don't want people still tracking me. I'm 28 years old.
And that's how they presented it, as, look, your kids, if they get abducted, we'll be able to trace them from a satellite. How about that? God damn, that's great. No more abducted kids. They'll find them in a second like LoJack.
Which is
great.
And
then all of a sudden it's like,
all of a sudden you're 28, and your life isn't that good, and you're doing some really nasty things, and they're still tracking you. Next thing you know, you're taking a butcher knife to your own hand.
Or what other information can be in that chip, and what...
I agree 100%. I'm not saying the Big Brother can see whatever they want. I don't mean that.
No one ever checks this. Yeah. Like I said, we're getting back to the whole thing that started this with the pilots and the hotel room and the key. That was a sentence in a story that wasn't even commented on. It wasn't even something I had read that I cross-referenced with a story I read years ago about that technology. That hit me more than the drunk pilots. When I read it, I'm like, wait a minute.
And I think the journalists out there in all these papers missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
Taking that little line that was in this stupid story and discussing it.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, by the way, here's some other things that you probably didn't know. What's going on around you.
Yeah. That's something.
The hotelies are watching you.
Stay at a hotelie because they don't do that.
Every
like Opie said.
Technology is going to have downside, and that's certainly something to be concerned about. But I'm not paranoid.
Man, I'm so surprised on your take on this.
Why? I don't disagree with you.
I don't think you're
wrong. I think, slippery slope argument doesn't always work for me. At times it does, but I think
I don't think you have to be paranoid to be concerned about this type of stuff, because you don't know how this is going to be used against you. Right now, you're like, hey, I live my perfect life. I don't cheat on my girlfriend. I'm not doing anything too crazy. But who knows how the government's going to spin it? Like the Easy Pass. We'll go back to that way, where they have discussed where they're thinking about monitoring as you go down the highway and just mailing speeding tickets. That will affect every single one of us and make our lives a major drag, especially if you're doing some road tripping.
That I have a problem with simply because
could you imagine
driving the car.
Could you imagine doing a 7-hour road trip and the whole time you got to realize I can only go 65 miles an hour?
Right.
When there are times there is open highway and no one around and you know you can go 80,
only do 65 because you know you will get a ticket.
That's right.
Not look around for the cop and think, all right, I'm in between these two bridges. There's not much shoulder for a cop, so I know I could fly. Not even if you go over 65, you absolutely will get a ticket because of a satellite
that would bother me
sensor.
Big time.
It would bother me too.
And then there's another side of it. I've been on the LIE and I'm doing the speed limit, whatever, maybe a little faster, and you see these scumbags weaving in and out, going 85, 90, and you're screaming at yourself.
That's me.
And you're wishing there was a cop around to catch these idiots, because they're obviously putting a lot of people in danger. I'm talking about the times where, my God, you're speeding, you're not hurting anyone.
Right. Maybe they'll have the thing that it's only going to clock you if you're doing X amount of miles over the limit, doubling the limit.
Doesn't matter. It still would.
There's a way to block that, though. Easy Pass, you can block going through. Well, the problem I'm saying is everybody was getting speeding tickets from Easy Pass. Easy Pass would cease to exist because nobody would use it anymore.
Right.
Unless, again, they made all toll Easy Pass only.
You know something, though? Not everyone will know about it. Again, the room key. I didn't know. I know a lot about what's going on.
And you're crazy to say no one will use it.
I'm saying we were all getting speeding tickets for every time we went over.
You realize you drive enough. They have made it in our fine city that you got to get an Easy Pass. Right. But they only have one toll pretty much open for cash at this point.
So you're going to then sit in a line of traffic because you might get a ticket?
The local government has already decided, look, this is the system we want in place, okay? And so they make it a hassle for the people that don't have Easy Passes. You're in a line to pay your stupid, cash for the bridge or the tunnel. You got a 20 to 30 minute wait because you don't have Easy Pass. You see everyone, flying by you. Of course they're making it so much easier. No, look, if you just get the Easy Pass, you don't have to deal with this line anymore.
Package it.
They could always have one stupid toll line open, but the majority of the people are going to give in and say, okay, I got to get the Easy Pass.
Mark my words, when the product or device or whatever comes about that is the biggest, most convenient, greatest thing that is embraced by the public, that will be the most dangerous tool ever. Because, like I was saying, it will always be packaged on the upside where they'll say, look, you need this, like Easy Pass. I could not imagine driving through a toll anymore without it. It would drive me nuts. I sit and look at those lines, so it will always be presented that way.
I don't like the ticketing with speeding. The traffic light thing I don't have a problem with because traffic light's a stationary object, and anybody that blows through it, that's a tremendous safety hazard.
No, I gave examples why that's even ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's a rare occasion.
Not as rare as you think. There are people blowing lights all the time that aren't putting anyone in danger.
You know what? At the intersections, they rarely put the cameras at intersections that you would go through a red light at any time. Those are usually at very busy
There's one on Houston. I forget, it's on Houston and something. I actually know where like three of them are.
There's a light by my house that I never stop for the red. I stop, I look. Traffic's only coming from one way. It's like a T intersection. Only coming from one way, and it's barely ever coming. So if I see the lights red and there's nobody coming, I go right through it. But there's not going to be a camera there because they wouldn't be able to turn a profit there. You know what I mean? But eventually, will there be cameras on all the corners? Who knows? No one's really fighting that hard for the cameras that are up there now. So, like I said, we just sit back and let it happen. No one really screams that loud. No one complains. And the next year, there's just a little more. And like I said, I don't know why, but something just bothers me about it.
Right, okay.
I can't put my finger on it.
Well, the phones have exploded, so we're going to stay on this for a little bit. All right?
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Don't go on. There's a couple of people we wanted to go to with this technology thing.
Oh, I got a story really quick that somebody just sent. You know when you go to the supermarket, you have your preferred customer card?
Yes.
Slide it through.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's under the guise of convenience and savings, because if you use it, they take off a certain percentage of some of your purchases. So you got your little card. They ask you, you slide it through. What this is a marketing tool that they can track the products you're buying, and then you can be you can get coupons and whatnot sent to you for the products that you buy the most. That's what everyone is told, and that's what everyone thinks, because there's no other reason for it. Well, recently, somebody was buying charcoal, hummus, bleach, and sandwich bags. And the government agents, American government agents from the CIA, started checking into who was buying certain products. They handed over this information to the government. Now, when you go to the store and hand your preferred customer card, you don't think that info is going to the government. No one told you it was, yet it was.
So if you're going to buy, like, razor blades and apples...
Around Halloween,
maybe
and pens?
Maybe you should take 2 trips to the grocery store.
It's one of those things... Yeah, split it up. Split up your purchase. It's one of those things that it isn't written anywhere, just like the key card at the hotel telling you when you're checking in and out of your rooms on any given time.
Is Southwest Airlines using this technology to keep the fatties off the plane?
Yeah, you're buying Haagen-Dazs more than 4 times a week.
Right.
It's like tickets.
Look, you're fat, you're telling me you can't help yourself. Well, look, we got your latest grocery list.
If on the back of the card...
the goddamn Twinkies.
Does it say, what was it, hummus and this other stuff?
Yeah.
Good job, FBI. Good job.
If on the back of your preferred customer card there was a print that said, this information may be given to the government, would you use it?
No.
Would anyone use it?
Yes, because I don't trust my government.
But you just, not trusting it, I would just think, why? Why is my grocery list going to the government?
Meaning you don't really trust them. What they're going to do with that information.
Let them know I use Tom's toothpaste, Tom's mouthwash, and a lot of toilet paper because I'm constantly taking dumps. That's all they'd find out about me. This guy's a loser.
The fact is, though, my point is they don't let you know that that's where it's going. So that was a little odd. Again, presented as a great convenience to you.
All right, let's go to Matt. Hey, Matt, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
I wanted to let you know that there's a magazine out. Well, it's kind of a magazine. It's more like a newsletter. It comes out quarterly, as far as I remember. It's called 2600. And it used to be just about how the phone company could keep tabs on you and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of reasons the magazine is out. But when I lived in Chicago, there was a thing called the iPass, which is kind of like, they just give you... They let you go through, and then you pay the fees later for tolls.
Yeah, it's kind of like our Easy Pass here in New York.
Yep.
Right. Well, when I was still pretty active in the 2600 community, they had an article saying how this could track you, and how that it even says, when you get that nice little pamphlet to take home, on the back in the small print, that this can be used to file criminal charges against you.
Oh, it says it?
It says it on the back of it. But, You guys do need a weekend program. I heard you mentioning that earlier.
Hey, does
You're trying to get the job?
Does Easy Pass say that at all? Maybe it does in some of the small print in the pamphlet.
I don't
know.
read small print.
That fine.
Have you ever
print.
read small print?
No.
You should see the things Ed and I sign on a daily basis. We have no idea.
Oh, we could be put in prison for some of the things we signed.
Oh, my God. We signed a document a couple weeks ago. I don't even know what we just signed away.
Yeah.
Something about something we didn't do on the radio.
Yeah.
Pledging support for Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, who knows?
They handed over, it was... They handed over a contract for Ed and I to sign. It had to be over 100 pages.
Mm-hmm.
You think we read this damn thing before we signed it? Of course not.
Did you read every page of that, like, sexual harassment and proper proper conduct in the workplace thing that we got.
I didn't sign that.
I didn't either.
I don't sign any of that.
I didn't sign it.
I don't sign any
What,
of
it's in the garbage?
I threw mine in the garbage.
I don't sign that either. I didn't read it. I didn't sign it. That's signing that drivel.
I'm a stupid radio guy. I'm not signing documentation that they make IBM employees sign.
Yeah. I'm working in the office.
Hire all fat chicks if you don't want them harassed.
You know how many rules we broke yesterday with our little party?
Forget about
it. And if you sign that document they gave us in our mailboxes?
Just cause to fire you.
Of course.
So fire me for not signing it.
We had naked girls, drugs, alcohol.
We did?
Sex acts. Where the hell were you?
Some people would love to fire certain members of this radio show.
It was dark. I couldn't see all that going on. Was Pete Johnson involved? I hope not. He signed it.
And all it takes is one of those bitches from upstairs to come walking down and traipsing into our area.
Right.
And we're all screwed.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like what you see down here, don't come down here.
Exactly.
You have a job because Aunt and I are successful. That's it.
But did you hear flack from somebody up there?
No. In the past.
No comment. No comment.
Was this what?
No comment.
All right.
Because they're that awful. See how everyone's laughing and losing their minds around here?
I'm not saying anybody's name.
It's gotten that bad upstairs.
Remember when some of our guests used to have to sit up in the Wynn's waiting room, our news station in New York City? They used to have to sit in the Wynn's waiting room. And, oh, my God, the horrors sometimes. The homeless people, the naked girls, the stinky people. It was awful.
The nun that we horrified.
The news people don't want to look at them, but they don't mind capitalizing off of them and talking about them and getting people to listen because of them. But if we have to look at the reality in our faces, we don't like it.
There you go.
Exactly.
We gave him a lot of good stories to report on. Dan, what's up?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
What's up, Dan?
Talk a little louder, Dan.
I'm just going to let you guys know on the new cars now, what they're actually doing now in engines is they're putting in regulators. They're calling them governors.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Yeah, but what they can actually do is, like, I didn't realize until I had a truck, they put a governor on my truck at 85. So what they can do is they can start lowering, drop the governors to 65, so that way, they fix that way.
They'll never do that because they need to give out speeding tickets.
I know that, but I'm just saying,
it'll never get to that point, my friend.
Wait, the governor won't let his truck go over 85? Is that what that means?
Yeah, but he's thinking, well, why don't we just drop the governors down to 65 so no one speeds? No, they need to
I
catch
agree with you there. Everybody needs their money, and that's, another way to get their taxes. But I'm just saying, it's a thing that started as a convenience thing.
Yeah,
hey, look, we'll keep you from, having your engine blow up.
But they'll never drop it down to 65, I'm telling you. They'd also way too much money with the speeding tickets and catching you.
There'd also be lawsuits from people that died in accidents that said, well, if I could have accelerated faster to get out of the way of something that was coming up behind me or whatever, I would have been alive.
I got a quick seatbelt story. A girl I went to college with.
I love seatbelts.
Swears if she was wearing her seatbelt, she would be dead.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to figure out.
Because she went flying out of the car was completely destroyed.
Most people thrown from the car die, though.
I'm just saying. I mean, this is, in one case where if she was wearing the seatbelt, she would not be with us.
I always buckle up. Buckle up, kids. It's cool.
You always get the rare exception, hey,
I'll tell you about
killed somebody. But
I know. But it's a quick story.
For the most part.
I'll tell you this much about the seatbelt thing.
Mm-hmm.
They should not be giving you tickets if you're not wearing your seatbelt.
I agree.
What? Why? I'm only hurting myself.
You know what, though? No, I'll disagree with that because it affects me. Because get this.
How does it affect you if I don't wear my seatbelt?
I'll tell you why. Some jackass is driving. I'm driving. I'm buckled in quite nicely. We have a collision. I'm fine. This ass goes through the goddamn windshield because he's too lazy to buckle up. Now, I'm not only saddled with all kinds of lawsuits, but I'm saddled with the fact that I was in an accident that involved somebody dying. It would affect me. I think it's maybe not. You know something? I'm a little leery with the law that you should have seatbelt law. But any idiot that gets into a car and doesn't buckle their seatbelt is a moron. Is an idiot.
But
you know what?
He's an idiot.
But I think that should be my choice.
No, because you're affecting other people. You're affecting insurance rates. It affects a lot of things.
You're both right. Technically, you should not have to wear it, but if you are injured and it's proven that you weren't wearing it, you forfeit right to insurance.
But the lawyers jump in on that and just...
You're right, but then you forfeit your right to collect on personal injury because you were not wearing your seatbelt.
I shouldn't have to be affected by me being involved in the death of a human. You know what I mean?
Why should you be so lucky?
Yeah, go through life like that. You know, that kind of freaks you out a little bit. Because some jackass doesn't feel like putting his seatbelt on. Why?
I don't get that either.
Yeah.
I like to be buckled in for safety.
Oh, I crank that thing nice and tight. Our old pal, Pete Radovich.
God hangs over it.
What's up, boys?
What's up, Pete? What's up, man?
You guys got me freaking out now. I'm driving around in a new car I just bought a couple of months ago, and it's got the greatest thing. You're talking about convenience. This thing's got GPS, and it's also got a little button I can hit, and I can talk to someone that can see where I am, and I can tell them, hey, listen, I need to know where the nearest Taco Bell is.
Right.
And within a minute, they tell me where the Taco Bell is.
It's like
wow, dude.
Now,
I've been with Tim Sabian coming home from a restaurant completely hammered. Tim was driving drunk, and he decides, back roads of his neighborhood, he decides he's going to talk to the GPS guy.
Yeah, it was the OnStar.
The OnStar. He pushes the OnStar button. The guy told Tim exactly where he was driving.
It's amazing.
And that's how they start the conversation. Hi, Mr. Sabian. You're about to make a right on Oakwood Road.
Is that alcoholic smell in your breath, Tim Sabian? Our smell sensors in the car are detecting alcohol. And Opie's with you, I see. I'm looking right at you now.
Right. Tim,
why are you wearing such tight slacks, Mr. Sabian?
He's got to get a life because he thought it was hilarious. He called the OnStar people just to make them unlock his locks. That was it.
Mr. Sabian, I'm sending the hip police to arrest you for those pants. Those are very unhip pants. Not allowed.
Can any car have an OnStar?
And the OnStar guy is like, is everybody ready? And we all go, yes. And all of a sudden, click, they unlocked all the locks for us.
Isn't that something?
That's cool.
It's not even something I asked for. It's provided with the car. It just came with the car, and I thought it was the greatest thing.
Really?
They know exactly where you're going. They know exactly where you're going right now.
Forget about that.
Some snot-nosed kid, because they don't pay those guys a lot of money. They're tracking you going, look at Pete. He stopped at the whorehouse on the way home from work.
I know this area. This is where they sell the crack.
Yeah, we know this area.
What kind of car is it, Pete?
It's a Mercedes. But not only that.
Look at you with the new job, huh?
Listen, not only that, I've got an open
Someone
mic.
made out well after the XFL thing, huh?
I'll say.
Go ahead, Pete.
I've got an open mic in my car.
Yeah.
Basically, this is a mic hanging over my head right now. There could be someone in Houston listening to me right now.
Now,
how do I know they're not listening in anytime they want?
Don't you have to enable it?
No, well, I do on my end, but how do I know they don't enable it on their end whenever they want it?
You don't know. You just don't know for sure.
Oh, my God.
Read the
I'm driving around. They could be listening to me right now talking to you guys. I'm in my car right now.
No, we're not listening, Pete. Don't worry, we're not.
Don't worry, we're not listening because this is a boring conversation. There's another Mercedes in Jersey. They're having sex in the car. Why would I want to listen to you?
I thought you said you had an open micro in your car. I'm like, why are you riding around with Voss?
All right, boys. Talk to you later.
All right, take it easy, Pete. We got to take a break.
Boy, that's a little odd.
We're still catching up. And by the way, yes, Tim was snotted. Hammered.
I get to dump a girl, too.